everyone, and welcome to today's capsule on the fundamentals of grievance and issues management. Today's video will be an introduction to commitments. So, are you creating agreements with your stakeholders or maybe even making legally binding promises? Maybe in some cases, even these promises might be to solve an issue or a grievance that your project is experiencing. Uh, if you are, you're probably looking for a very efficient way to track these agreements and organize them and even ensure that they're being followed up with and respected in the right manner. Well, I got some news for you today. This video is for you, and I'm really excited to show you the commitment section of Borealis. So, what is a commitment in Borealis? I have an example of one behind me that we'll take a look at in a second. But a commitment in Borealis is a formal or informal, or as mentioned, a legally binding agreement with one or more stakeholders that outlines specific actions or which you or the company holds yourself accountable to. Now, as mentioned, I do have a commitment behind me, but if you're wondering how to get to the commitment section in Borealis, it's actually found in a module we're very familiar with called the stakeholder engagement module. So if we just navigate here to stakeholder engagement, you can see under the engagement section, we have commitments second from the bottom. So let's go ahead and click on it, and it'll bring us right here to the commitment section. Now, navigating through the commitment form is very much like navigating through other forms in Borealis that you may be familiar with, such as engagement plans or the individuals form, for example. You have the option to change from summary to a detailed view to get more information. You have the tools as well, depending on your access to export, import Excel, and to export any documents that may be attached here. We also have some quick filters I want to highlight to help you find some of your commitments very quickly. You can quickly filter on commitments that are assigned to you, that are created by you, that are overdue, that are due this week, that are due this month, and we can even hide the ones that have been closed off as well. Now, to access a commitment record, all we need to do is go ahead and just click on the commitment here, or if you're in detailed view, or sorry, in summary view, you can click right here on the spray water during digging commitment that I made here. Now that we're in the commitment record, let's take time to do some navigation through it. So very similar to navigating through other records, you do most of it on the left-hand side. Here's the general information area where we could just find more info on this commitment. We could see that it's a legally binding commitment about spraying some water when they're digging. And the description, or if we want to find maybe more details about it, it just says during the dry season, when it does not rain, the soil kicks up. A lot of dust is causing residents to cough. We have promised to the city and residents to spray water before digging. And we could see who made the commitment, who's responsible, just a lot of really great information right off the bat. Now, if you have already moved your commitment from opened to in progress, you will have other tabs like assessment. I'm going to skip this for now. We are going to cover it in the video on workflows of commitments. In the stakeholders tab, this is where the stakeholders are stored that are affected by the commitment. And as well the team members and collaborators that involved. If you need to add more people in, you can always do so with the green plus button, and you can add in one of your stakeholders like that, or create a new one by clicking that green plus button. Right below it in the engagement section, this is where the communications are stored that may be related to this commitment, and where the grievances and issues are stored as well. As always, if we click on one of the sections, it'll display the records that are linked. So here are some communications that are related to this commitment and maybe any grievances or issues as well. We're going to skip follow-up, save that for the workflow video as well. We're going to skip through these modules here. And we're going to take a look finally at your place to attach your documents if you have any, Any tasks you might want to create related to this commitment could be done here. The action history that this commitment has gone through, and finally, as always, the comments section as well. I also want to note that we will be doing a lot of work in the actions menu come time to start moving these commitments through the workflow process, but we'll save that again for when the time comes. So I think it's time we created our first commitment record. Let's go back to the commitment section right now inside of stakeholder engagement. And we're just going to go ahead and click the green plus button here to open up the commitments form. And we're just going to go ahead and create our first commitment. Now let's start going through the form to create our first commitment here. I'm going to tell you a bit of a story about what this commitment is. So for example, we were given access, or the landowner or a person that owns a property gave us permission to access their farmland in order to conduct some of our project activities. But they said that in order for us to be allowed to use it, we have to close the gate before we leave to not let out their livestock. So we're going to make a commitment and tie it to the right stakeholder to make sure that anytime someone is visiting, they could see the stakeholder is involved in this commitment and they're reminded to close the gate and keep the promise that was made. So we'll give it a title, something meaningful that you remember. Maybe we'll call this close gate after leaving property, like that. Now, the commitment type, again, customizable. There's a few available right out of the box. Is this a formal, informal, or actually a legally binding commitments are the ones that I have available. Maybe this is just an informal promise we made. Still something we promised, but it's informal, just a shake of the hand kind of thing. No legal implications or anything like that. We could put a location if we have it as well, maybe the city or the project area. So I'll just put Toronto. The responsible person, that would be the person that does the work or actually ensures that this commitment is being either processed or respected. I'll select myself, and as always, the accountable person would be someone that maybe doesn't necessarily do the work, but still oversees the resolution of the commitment and ensures the proper steps are being taken to solve it. So we'll just select Don Pollard here. Now we can actually assign a date and exact time the commitment was made if necessary. Maybe it was made just here on Monday at around 10:30 in the morning, for example. And we can actually select the person that made it. This is pulling from the staff member registry. I was the one that just so happened to be there, for example, as part of this story. So I'll just select myself as the one that made the commitment. If you have any engagement plans or communications you would like to link this commitment to, now would be the time to do it with one of these boxes here, or you can always just create a new comm using the green plus button or a new engagement plan using the green plus button. Now a description here, again, as you saw in the navigation example, it's just a place that we could put more information about this commitment. So we could say, promised the land owner that we will be, and just finished typing it up there, and I just wrote that promise the landowner that we will be closing the gate on his land whenever we are conducting project activities. If you have the TDS add-on, you can go ahead and assign it out to that as well. And that's it actually for creating our commitment. So let's go ahead and hit save and see what's available to us. And there we go. Now, right off the bat, you'll notice that our commitment is actually in the open status right now. Anytime you create a new commitment, the way I did in the system, it will always by default be set to open. And in the next video, we'll discuss how we start moving this down the workflow chain. But for now, we just have our information that we logged here related to this commitment. Now, we do need to add in the stakeholder here before we close off this training video today. So we'll just go to the stakeholder area. We'll just hit search, and this promise was made to Scarlett here, Webb. as an individual landowner, not as the person that works at the Crimson Horizon State House as an elected official. We talked to her in this case as a person of the community because we're addressing her property. So we'll hit save, add in that stakeholder. If there's other ones, feel free to add them as well. But that's all the information we pretty much need to start taking this to the next step. So I'll see you in the next video. Really enjoyed showing you how to create commitments today and hope you have a great one. Thank you.